you a chill. 'Cause at night when it's still, they say the walls keep talking, spooks keep walking, so the folks in the town pass the legend around. Someone lives underground, that's why the walls keep talking. All right, you'll hear us scream out of the night. You'll wake from your dream, so filled with pride. When you walk down the lane, you can hear it so plain. It'll drive you insane, because the walls keep talking, but no one's walking around. She was a red-hot hoochie coocher. She was the roughest, toughest frail, but Minnie had a heart as big as a whale. Hidey, 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 hide. Hidey, 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 hide. Whoa! Heedy, 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 heedy. Whoa! She messed around with a bloke named Smokey. She loved him, though he was pokey. He took her down to Chinatown. He showed her how to kick the gong around. Hide, 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 hide. Hide, 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 hide. She had a dream about the King of Sweden. He gave her things that she was needing. He gave her a home built of gold and steel, a diamond car with the platinum wheels. Howdy, 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 howdy. Howdy, 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 howdy. Howdy, 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 howdy. Howdy, 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 howdy. Skibby, biddy, gubba, biddy, gibby, biddy, bubbly, what? was a dozen horses. She had $1 million worth of nickels and dimes. She sat around and counted them all 1,000,000 times. Heidi, 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 Heidi. Heidi, 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 Heidi.
I met a cowboy riding the range one day, and as he jogged along, I heard him singing the most peculiar cowboy song. It was a ditty he learned in the city. Come a tie, yip to the get along, get help, little doggy, get along. You'd better be on your way, get along, get hip, little doggy. Then he trucked it on down the old fairway, singing his cow-cow boogie in the strangest way. Come a tie, hip to the eye, singing his cowboy song. He's just too much. He's got a knocked-out western accent with a Harlem touch. He was raised on local weed. He's what you call a swing half-breed, singing his cow-cow boogie in the strangest way. Come a tie, yip to tie.
Salad, man, salad.
Singing his cowboy song, he's just too much. He's got a knocked-out western accent with a Harlem touch. He was raised on local weed. He's what you call a swing half-breed, singing his cow-cow boogie in the strangest way. Come a tie, hip to the eye.
Good evening, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to the Friday Night Scream Stream. I'm your host, Spakenstein, and joined once again, as always, by my very good friend, the Rat Dad himself, Mr. Evan Sink. I'm going to do it every time.
Everybody, good evening. Thank you, Garrett. That was a lovely introduction.
Well, you know, I try. How are we doing tonight, Evan? How are you doing tonight?
We are good. We are good. It is Friday. Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday. We made it. We're Fridays in the house.
Another week in the books.
Yep, and I mean, hey, it's especially, you know, as we're all settled into the year that is going to be 2025, right? Like once you hit February, it's kind of like, all right, like these weeks, I can't let them slip away because before I know
we're
it,
locked in. We're locked in. There's no excuse to be writing 24 on your checks anymore.
nope. And before you know it, it's gonna be July. It's crazy how much like the first 6 months can get away from you. So we're you're gonna take it 1 week at a time. So I hope everybody's doing well tonight. I see that we got all of our good friends already in the chat. We got Alana and Kathy and Joe and Spy. And if I've missed anybody else that's hopped in, welcome.
Yeah, so good to see y'all.
Yeah,
Hope y'all are doing well.
Hope your weeks have not been nothing too stressful. And if it was stressful, that's why we're here. We're here to unwind. We're here to relax and enjoy old movies. That's what we do. We unwind with some old movies, public domain movies to be exact. And we get a little bit of history into, you know me, I can be a little bit of a history nerd. And that's why Evan's here to put the nerd alert on me if I get too far into because I get carried away with the facts sometimes. So Evan's here to reel me in.
My job is to sit in the back of the class with my arms crossed and my feet over the chair in front of me, and I go, "Hey, teach.
Yeah.
When are we ever going to use this in real life?"
And I'm like, oh God, kid, you really put me on the spot.
Oh man, I don't know.
But I'm always improv my way out of it. I try to find a way. But yeah, you know us. We're watching old movies, and we're getting a little bit of history hand in hand. And it wouldn't be our first episode of the month of February if we weren't celebrating the history. That is Black History Month, which is something we started last year when we watched Son of Ngagi, which was part of a genre, I guess technically a genre of films from the early 1900s to the 1950s, which were known as race films. And they were films that were made for exclusively a black audience. And so we talked about that last year, but we're going to talk about that this year because we got, these films ran the gamut of like all genres. And so tonight we got a murder mystery on our hands. That's right, a murder mystery, all black cast, black director, which we didn't have with Son of Ngagi. Tonight's film's entitled Midnight Shadow. This is from 1939, so a year before Son of Ngagi, which we saw last year, and that was a really fun movie.
It was. I remember that being a good, enjoyable movie.
Well, it was through and through like a horror movie, right? It was very much like a Bela Lugosi Poverty Row horror movie from that time, but actually with some more interesting stuff going on. The characters are actually more interesting than the wisecracking reporters. And
yeah, they felt a little real. So I've had I'm stuck in the 30s today. I've been still trying to get caught up, with the movies I missed. And so I was watching Rogue's Tavern.
Okay.
36, I think it was.
Yes, that's right.
And exactly the same. Like the protagonist and like the two protagonists are just cracking wise the whole time.
The whole time.
People are dropping dead left and right.
Yeah, it gets a little like kind of repetitive and stale after the third or fourth or fifth movie. And especially like with mysteries though too. And the thing is, we've seen a lot of mystery films on this show, which, as you just mentioned, Rogue's Tavern was, I guess that was the last one that we watched, because Torture Ship wasn't really a mystery. You knew who the bad guys were in Torture Ship, and it was pretty much everybody, and that was a lot of fun. But
well, spoilers.
Well, not really. No. You'll see.
It's okay.
No. Like, seriously, like, that movie is more like, you'll be surprised. I gave away nothing. So yeah, it's, we've seen enough murder mysteries to kind of run the gamut of really solid to mediocre. So it'll be interesting to see how Midnight Shadow stacks up. Because, Son of Ingagi kind of, I felt like, stacked up better to some of the Lugosi. I kind of thought it was better than Ape Man, which had the wisecracker reporter, actually played by the same guy who was the lead in The Rogue's Tavern, interestingly enough.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we got some interesting movie connections tonight, as we always do, all that good stuff. Another thing we've got tonight is, as always, Evan brings us a delicious cocktail to pair with the evening's film in a little segment which he calls...
What were you drinking?
And what are we going to be drinking tonight, Evan?
Well, Garrett, I've got a question for you, and I've got a question for everybody at home, too. When was the last time you pulled an all-nighter?
Oh, God.
Stayed up all night. When's the last time you saw the sunrise and you hadn't been to bed yet?
I actually do have an answer for that. I actually do remember.
You remember?
Yeah, I was actually editing something that there was like kind of a premiere deadline on.
You're trying to hit the deadline.
Yeah, and so I literally saw the sunrise. Yeah. Yeah.
Good on you, Garrett. I mean, that's an impressive work ethic. But if you're gonna do that, you might need a little something, some fuel to get through the night, because it's hard. It's hard staying up all night, working all night. You need some midnight. You need some midnight toil, which is what we're gonna be having tonight. Tonight's cocktail is called the Midnight Toil. We're gonna be burning down some of that. So, I was thinking this week about, when you just kind of throw a dinner together, like you go into your kitchen and you say, I really don't even know, like I've got to make dinner, I've got to eat something, I have no idea what I have. So you just kind of look in the cupboard, you have a cupboard meal, just whatever you have, you throw it together. My thought process for this was, okay, I'm pulling an all-nighter, I just need to throw together some delicious fuel. Right. So what we've got is we have a coffee base, of course, some hot brewed coffee. We're gonna mix in some hot chocolate mix, which delicious just by itself, just those two. I love the poor man's mocha, I think it's called.
Poor man's mocha.
Yeah. But to that, we're going to also add some nice dark rum and some amaretto. So we've got kind of a chocolate and almond and coffee drink tonight. And we're just going to pour all that up in our favorite mug, or whichever you have handy.
Yeah, I'm currently shake it.
Yeah, we've got another. I love that we're both making the drink.
Right,
now.
we kind of maybe get some different results, right?
Yeah,
as we saw last week.
Different each time. We've got the shaken. I've got the stirred.
Okay.
Presentation-wise, you can't see much.
You're not gonna be. Yeah, mine's gonna be in a mug.
It's in there, trust me. But if everybody at home is ready, Garrett, if you're ready.
I'm not ready.
He's not ready.
I'm not ready. Okay, now I'm ready. Okay.
Then.
All right.
This is Midnight Toil, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's good. It's good. Like, it's smooth. That's
the kind of thing you could stay up all night editing to.
It starts to hit a little out, you get it's not like a heaviness, but the alcohol the hot chocolate masks it, right? Like and then the almond of the amaretto comes in after. So not too bad. I like it. I wouldn't, I think I'd get carried away with this one because it's pretty smooth. It's smoothing.
Yeah, it's also booze and caffeine, which you got to be careful with. But
but we'll take it in stride, right? Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't. That's the thing with my coffee, man. I have to be careful because I'll just gulp, 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 gulp. I love my coffee. I probably drink too much coffee, to be honest. Like an unhealthy amount. I mean, they say it's good for you, but like, what point? To what point? You know. So.
How much is too much coffee?
I guess I'm testing those boundaries. Or I'm trying to. So yeah, this is good, and I don't know if anybody made it at home. I don't know, Kathy. I don't know if you made it or not. But it's pretty solid one. I gotta say, it's.
Sears says it needs peanut butter. Okay.
I could see that.
I could honestly, I could see that.
Peanut butter which welcome Sears. Hope you're doing well tonight. Yeah, peanut butter would bring like a heartiness, like a little bit of a savoriness, right?
Yeah, we've already got the almond. I mean, you just kicked it up. You kick up the nut angle.
Yeah, I mean, but what do you do? Do you go chunky or smooth?
Oh man, I don't.
It's a tough one.
I'm kind of a chunky man. I don't really keep creamy.
True, me too.
Butter in the house,
Same.
to be honest. I would have to go chunky.
I'm also a chunky man, so.
Or it's crunchy, isn't it? Is it chunky or crunchy?
It's crunchy. Why are we saying
Okay.
chunky? Crunchy. You know what we're talking about.
Choosy moms choose Jif extra chunky.
Extra chunky peanut butter. Yeah, so that's, God, of all the commercials that we've gotten on our mini-sodes, I don't think we've ever actually had like a peanut butter sponsor. Where's Big Peanut Butter?
Yeah.
If Big Peanut Butter's looking to sponsor somebody, we're here for you, Big Peanut Butter.
What was the Big Peanut Butter like?
Peter Pan?
Was it Peter Pan? Is that the oldest one?
I don't know if it's the oldest one, but
the oldest, big one.
It's certainly an iconic peanut butter.
We'll have to ask Mr. Peanut.
Yeah.
He's been around for a while.
He lived and died and lived again.
Yeah, that's right. They brought him back to life, didn't they?
That's right. Well, they killed him. Yeah, this is a really good one. Really good cocktail. Definitely.
I've got 2 thermoses of coffee within arm's reach. Because usually I drink coffee while we're doing the show anyway.
So you have one that's got liquor in it and one that's liquor free, is what you're telling me.
Yep.
So at some point you're gonna get them like, mixed up, or you're gonna, grab one, you're gonna get another one, and I mean, that's what are you gonna do?
Well, I mean, I got the second round pretty much poured up then.
There he goes. Very nice. Well, yeah, this is good, and I think this will go well with the film. And again, this is a brisk film tonight. It's under an hour. And just to kind of like set the scene for tonight's film, if you didn't watch Son of Ingagi with us last year, you haven't seen one of these films before, which again were called race films. Just like a little bit of an idea of like what they were. I mean, again, at this time in America was segregated, and there was a lot of racial injustice and a lot of stereotyping in the media. And so for those reasons and a lot of other reasons, black filmmakers started making their own movies in the early 1900s. And basically all through the whole time through classic Hollywood, black filmmakers were making movies. And white filmmakers, which were running studios that were making these movies as well. And, kind of compared, as we were already comparing it to Poverty Row films, that's kind of in terms of production value, everything else. It's very similar to a Poverty Row movie. But again, it's all black actors, usually in very standard roles, very like established society roles, cops, business owners, upstanding members of communities. And it was really a far cry from what mainstream Hollywood was doing at the time, which was really gross, like dehumanizing stereotypes. And that's not to say these films weren't stereotype free. And we may see tonight's film, there may be a little bit of stereotyping, but again, what you're going to see is just kind of a very like, it's just kind of, again, if you haven't seen one of these films before, you're like, oh, okay, like, duh, yeah, of course. Like, there were black filmmakers, there were Jewish filmmakers, there were, like, that's the thing, there were race films, there were black filmmakers, there were Asian filmmakers, there was a lot of a wider industry. So we're going to talk about that tonight. And some connections to actors that we've seen in other movies, and some, at least one black filmmaker who's also an actor that we've seen in a few movies on this show and in some other classic horror movies. So fun facts, good stuff tonight. But it's gonna be good in murder mysteries. So we'll see if it's a good one, if they keep us guessing to the end, or if it's pretty odd. Evan's good at like keeping track of suspects and trying to parse it all out. So.
We'll see. I'm hoping I'm not too rusty, but I'm inevitably gonna just be comparing this to the other movie I saw today.
Oh yeah, that's good though, because Rogue's Tavern wasn't bad. It was interesting. Like,
yeah, it wasn't bad. I liked the back and forth that the husband and wife had, even though like everything, like his whole shtick was just yikes city.
Yeah.
she would make a wisecrack about something and he would just go, "Hey, shut up."
Yeah, it was very, the put downs, I think, were very aggressive.
He's so mean. He's such a mean husband.
Yeah, was that the one where they were like, shut up, like the whole time? Yeah. Characters were just like being super mean to each other. There was a movie, maybe that was it.
So hopefully that's not what we have tonight.
See, yeah, that's the thing. This will be the exact opposite. Characters are going to be rude and snarky with each other, Well, we'll see. It should be good. We'll see. And yes, Skippy, Alana. That's another good old-fashioned peanut butter brain there. I definitely my fair share of Skippy. I guess now I'm more of a GIF guy, right? GIF's kind of standard, but well, anything before we get into tonight's murder mystery,
Evan? Is this movie creamy or crunchy? You be the judge.
Well, on that note, we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting beginning. If Evan's got it queued up, sorry.
Pulling it up right now. Okay.
All right, then without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting beginning of Midnight Shadow right now. You need to up your peanut butter game. Nice spot. Yes, absolutely.
Get better peanut butter.
George Randall. He actually didn't make too many movies, and this was the last one that he produced, wrote, directed. Oh, it's our favorite one, Alana. Woody and Tinny Words.
Yeah, can we start ranking our movies by creamy or crunchy?
We should. That's a pretty good scale, I think. Oh, you gotta love the good old-fashioned cast introduction. Oh, there we go. Dear Stalker Cap. That guy pulls it off. Sergeant. Buster. Hey, Buster. Prince Ali Habad. All right, this is a lot of suspects. Like they're
Extensive cast here.
extensive. Okay, opening text crawl. We got a Star Wars type thing going on here.
Somehow, Robert E. Lee returned.
They did not have this kind of explanation at the beginning of Son of Ingagi to explain why this community, where this community was. But I guess they felt the need to ground it a little bit. Yes, Alana, your guess is correct. Ruby is the mother of Dorothy Dandridge, who was the first Black Academy Award for Best Actress nominee. So
Very cool.
and she was the cowpoke singer in that
Oh,
short
the
in the
singer.
beginning. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was Dorothy.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah, that was Dorothy Dandridge, and yeah, her mother is in the film too. And we got a Swami, ladies and gentlemen, Ali Habad, defying science. Nice.
Is this your card? Science defied.
Possible. I live in private homes. That is the only way I can get the quiet and rest I must have in my work.
Sit down, Prince. I guess you're right. A young fellow in your line must find it hard to get a little rest.
Guess the body can get rest if they want it.
I prefer lovely people, comfortable homes, and rest. When I am fortunate enough to get in such a beautiful home as yours, Mrs. Wilson, Allah has blessed me.
Well, now, it's nice to know you believe in someone, or Allah, as you call him.
We call him Allah, you call him... What does it matter? I don't think he minds
Wow.
as long as we know he is supreme and the only one we can trust.
I've trusted him all my life, and he hasn't failed me yet.
Why don't you men sit over there? I want to clear
Okay.
the table.
Yes, dear. Come, Prince.
It's like a very straightforward conversation. Like, yeah, Allah is God. You know, like except that he didn't say that. He stopped short.
Might as well sit down. Fretting won't help. She'll be down as soon as she's ready.
Wouldn't make any difference, would it, as Larry when you go on?
Oh, of course. I want
Oh,
her to
she's
enjoy
laying down the
herself.
wisecracks.
Prince, I want to ask you a question. You know a father's always very anxious about his daughter.
After a mother has raised her,
Mm.
We're very fond of our child. I had noticed, that is, we know that you and Margaret have been spending most of your time together. And I should like to know, that is, well, I would like to ask...
What are my intentions toward your daughter? Also my future plans? Is that it, Mr. Wilson?
That's just what I wanted to say.
It's like you read my
plans
mind.
for the future are very definite.
You're not going to saw her in
When I
half,
have
are
made
you?
sufficient money, I will settle down in one of the smaller towns and open a little business of my own. Then I shall marry.
Naturally, you will marry a girl of the theater.
I had hoped Miss Wilson and I could reach an understanding.
Margaret has always done as she pleased in matters of this kind.
Pa, you know she always comes to us before deciding anything so important.
When had you planned on reaching this understanding?
Really, there's no cause for alarm. Miss Wilson will have plenty of time to consider the matter.
We love our daughter very deeply. Should she be made unhappy, I'm sure we could not stand it.
Is
Our
that a
little
threat?
girl is all we have. Please don't go on with this make-believe, if that's what it is.
Now, Mother, The young folks will take care of themselves. My boy, you're all right.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Your daughter will
The
be
father's
assured
blessing.
of my sincerity before making her choice.
Yeah, if the blessing
My
is,
family
I
has
guess.
always insisted that the sons marry into, well, should I say, comfortable circumstances. But I am sure they will take my feelings into consideration.
Wait a minute, young man. My daughter will not be a pauper when she...
Alfred, Paul, you go ahead. I see you're all set to talk too much.
Gosh, she's
She
just singing
always
him left
says
and
I
right.
talk too much.
See, in the other movie, the husband would have gone, "Shut up."
Yeah, see? Already, it's such a contrast.
Hello, Buster. Come in. Margaret is dressing.
Yes, sir.
Oh, their daughter's got multiple suitors. What are they going to do?
She's fine.
Go
Too
on in
many
and sit down. I'll
suitors.
tell Margaret you're here. Buck up. For goodness sake, don't look so down in the mouth.
Yes, sir.
If you let that guy take her away from you, I don't know what I'll do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm here to see your daughter, I guess.
Oh, yes. Now about Margaret. We've been saving a surprise for her. A fine piece of East Texas land as a wedding present.
Property is more of a liability than an asset.
This piece has been in our family for many years. The famous East Texas oil structure runs right through it. I'll show you on the map.
Oil land. We struck oil.
There's oil in these hills.
Oh yeah, don't look suspicious or anything. Oh,
Mom put the box way back in the drawer and I couldn't see it at first. We always keep it in our dresser. Now, here's the deed.
who's that peeping outside the window?
Free and clear. An oil company offered me $15,000 cash, $30,000 in oil, and 1/8 royalty.
Don't take it. It's worth more than that.
Here's the map.
But you have to find it first.
Now, this is the East Texas oil structure. So much red belted on it, you can't grow anything but sagebrush. Gushers has come in on both sides of my land at better than 30,000 barrels a day.
This is a valuable piece of land. Why don't you develop it?
We decided to keep it until Margaret marries and let her enjoy what it will bring with her husband. You
We
see,
said we didn't want the work. We'll just let our daughter deal with that
Margaret will be
headache.
down in a minute. Paul, what does all this mean?
I was just showing the prince I've let place down in Texas.
I wish you hadn't done this. I wanted, oh, well, I guess. I'm sorry, Prince Allahabad, but I just don't like to brag.
I can assure you Mr. Wilson was not bragging, just a little show of paternal pride.
Forget you saw this.
I'm so ashamed. I can't believe you know I own land.
I mean,
Waiting to see Daddy?
obviously it's
Margaret, I
a
came
big
to see you.
deal.
Gee, you look pretty. Where you going?
I'm going to the theater with a friend.
Not with him. I won't let you.
Since when did you assume the role of a dictator?
Call me what you like, but I wanted to go out with that pony.
Well, at least he has a backbone.
Yeah, for your money.
Ooh,
Hmm.
that's all you came to tell her, Buster. You just came to say I don't like this. Yell at her and leave.
It didn't take long now, did it?
It seemed like hours to me, but I suppose it was really only a couple of minutes.
Whoever that was that tried to take the door off the hinges.
It was Buster, Paul.
You see, Prince, Here is where we keep all of our valuables. They're perfectly safe there.
Naturally, you keep the key securely.
Right
Never had
here.
a key, and we've never
Come and
lost
get 'em.
nothing out of that box.
We must be going, or you will miss the show.
I've got the show with me, so how can I miss? Good night, Mommy and Dad. I'll be right home.
Good night to you both.
Good night.
Have a good time.
She's gonna yell at him as soon as they walk out. Cannot believe you showed him that.
You showed him the treasure
Seems
map.
to be a fine young fellow.
Oh, I guess so. But I have the queerest feeling like something's going to happen.
Now, Mom.
Like someone's been watching
you
us through the
always
window.
get those notions when you're tired. You'd better go to bed early and get a good night's rest. You'll feel better in the morning.
I hope so. I wish you hadn't shown him these things.
Don't worry. Everything will be all right.
I like this guy. He's so
Yeah, he's just laid back.
even keel,
Oh, here we go.
smooth sailing ahead.
Everybody's just chilling.
Honest, Langley, I'm so disappointed I don't know what to do. Our boy works so hard and you don't do a thing to help him.
Don't start that all over again. I want to read the paper.
You're always talking about what good friends you have in politics, yet you do nothing for your own. Why don't you get him on some of these big cases?
Men that handle those big cases seem to be working for the government or the police department.
I'm waiting for Mr. Hoover to get a case where he needs a fingerprint expert. Then I shall go to Washington.
Well, I know he will appreciate you.
I opened the office for him fully equipped, and that's all I can do.
Wow, okay. These detectives have their own little drama going on. I guess the show went well. God, there's no music, man. That's what I'm
My dear,
realizing.
I do think an awful lot.
Yeah.
Prince, darling.
You should travel to all the pretty places in the world as the wife of Prince Allahabad. You shall know New York, London, Paris, Buenos Aires, all the pretty places where one really lives.
I'm just a small town girl. You might be ashamed of me.
Allahabad will never be ashamed of the woman he loves.
Will you always feel that way?
Always, my dear.
I was never so happy before. Only, you're going so soon.
Then you will go with me in the morning. Your happiness must be lasting.
Uh-oh. Don't do it.
You will pack a few things at once. I must leave quite early.
Dang, so yeah, right. You think she's gonna leave her parents and she said she's a small town girl. She ain't gonna go with you, bro. All right. Nothing's really happening. They're looking at each other's pictures. This romance seems to have unfolded very quickly.
But we have music though.
That's true. We do have mute. That is a nice touch.
It would be a much more awkward scene if there wasn't.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, again, you know, this is kind of like the beauty of race films. Is like, it's just showing black people at the time just doing normal things, just getting ready for bed. Like, not doing anything like, you know, ridiculous over the top. I believe that is going to take us to our first break, right?
Oh, right.
I believe.
Yep.
So that was the first third of Midnight Shadow, and I mean, again, this is a short movie, so that was like 17 minutes. So
yeah, I think we're a little ahead of where you said.
Okay. Well, we'll get that. Not too much though. Like what? Like
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Okay, that's all right. We can live with that.
We're within the standard deviation.
That's right.
We did it.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, 17 minutes, not like a lot. The mystery has not unfolded yet, but we've certainly got like the layout, right? Like the crumbs.
We got the lay of the land. We got our main characters, our lovers who we want to root for.
Right.
Do we?
Who do we want to root for?
I don't know.
Do we want to root for Ali Habad, or do we want to root for Buster? You know,
for Buster, the other guy. Ali Habad seems like a nice guy.
Seems nice enough, but you know, he did peep whenever her father was getting the map box out. So
yeah, he got a little jumpy there. Got a little nervous.
He did. So yeah, and that's the other thing. We know it's at stake, right? This land, this property. Of course, it is unfortunate that, like, you know, she's got these suitors, and it's like, okay, well, do they really want her, or do they want her for, you know,
for the money,
for the
oil? Do it for the oil.
For the oil. Yeah, I don't know. So we got some interesting stakes here, I'd say. And again, pretty like the whole movie has been pretty even keeled so far, to take a turn from Evan, right?
Yeah, pretty easy going.
Not too much conflict.
Murder mystery.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Buster wasn't the guy looking outside the window, because he was in the house whenever the map was being gotten out. So there's some other party.
Some lurking person.
Yeah, that we haven't met yet. And Buster's a little too Daryl from coming to that. Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't get to see much of him. You know, he was in and out like a flash. He did storm out of the house. For good reason.
I mean, I don't know. Storming out's never a good look.
Well, I guess
you're never gonna win points anywhere by storming out.
No, you do not win friends by storming out. So I don't know, but Margaret's mom seems to really like Buster, right? So I mean, if he's got mom in his pocket, then he must not be such a bad guy. But I don't know. Yeah, so we'll see. I think that the murder is just around the corner.
Imminent, probably.
It is. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, like, again, as you can tell just from the first third of that movie, it's very I mean, God, how many mysteries do we get where, the first third is just setup, right? Like, it's just, I'm trying to remember if the Rogue's Tavern was that way. If the murder didn't happen until after the first third. I can't, for some reason, I'm thinking that, but I could be wrong. But my brain is thinking that maybe it did. So, I'd say pretty standard in terms of murder mysteries. But, again, just like, as you can tell, if you've seen, I mean, even we've had some older Hollywood produced movies on this show, but if you're a fan of old movies and you've seen classic Hollywood movies, you know just how bad the stereotyping was back then. And I mean, cartoons was the worst. Like, that's where you see it a lot on our show, unfortunately, is we get some old cartoon that I'm like, oh, this looks good. And then we're watching it. Like, I haven't really watched it all the way through. And then it's in the pre-roll. And, like, toward the end of the cartoon, there's some incredibly racist. And you're just like, ah. But that was the thing. That was like, again, that wasn't the only reason that black filmmakers decided to start making their own things outside the Hollywood system. But clearly what Hollywood was doing was propaganda, and it was just reinforcing all these like terrible racial stereotypes. So you had within, like, you know, I think the whole span of race films, over 100 different companies that were making movies for black audiences. Because, you know, you had, especially in the South, like theaters that were segregated or were black only. And, you know, and then in more up north in affluent areas like Chicago, you know, you had black theaters. So, you know, as early as the early, like, 1910s, films started being produced for black audiences, and they're, you know, westerns, you know, a lot of like morality plays and morality tales. And one of the first, or I guess the first black owner of a film studio in the United States was an actor named Noble Johnson, who we've seen in a few movies on this show.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
He was in The Most Dangerous Game playing the servant of Zaroff. Mm-hmm. He's like this, you know, big burly guy and this kind of it's not like a Russian looking get up, but it's this kind of Eastern kind of looking get up, and he's wearing crazy makeup. He was also in The Mummy with Boris Karloff. And he was in a movie which we talked about when we watched Torture Ship, a movie entitled The Mad Doctor of Market Street. And, you know, so that's the thing. He was in these horror movies, but playing a lot of like uncredited roles, and you know, as typical for stereotyping in Hollywood back then, domestics, you know, or servants. That was kind of in a lot of the actors in tonight's film. If they were in mainstream Hollywood, those were the roles that you were offered as a black actor in mainstream Hollywood. And even when they were making films for a black audience, Hollywood was just filling them with stereotypes because the writers are white. You know? So it was like one of those things, though, where like Noble Johnson, before he was in these horror movies, he had his own studio. And he was starring in these movies, and they were being distributed. And then Universal, who he worked for, was like, okay, you have to choose. You can either we can either keep giving you roles in these Hollywood movies, or you can run your film studio. And so he gave up running the film studio. And a lot of the roles that he played were usually not. He was apparently very skilled with makeup, so he was hired to play Indians and you know, just all these different ethnicities except black characters. Apparently, that was like just he very rarely actually played a black character. But you know, I mean, he actually was the first one to run a studio, his own studio. So and then of course the most famous black filmmaker was a guy named Oscar Micheaux, who made a lot of like really more kind of dramatic, moral kind of melodramas, at least early in his career. And then, you know, at the advent of sound, everything changed. So, you know, in the silent era, race films were more kind of contemplative. And then in the sound era, they started kind of conforming more to like typical Hollywood genres, which again, that's why you get like tonight's film kind of trying to emulate murder mystery. We saw Son of Ingagi patterned after horror films, you know, but these movies ran the gamut. Some of them were, had social commentary. Some of them were just fun genre movies. There were westerns. So those are the trailers that we're gonna get for this break. One of them is for an Oscar Michaud film called Birthright, and I'll go ahead and warn you, the trailer is like there's outdated language and stuff. So I mean, it's a little might be a little bit like, you might be a little caught off guard. So just tell you about that. But kind of a more of a moral kind of a tale. Michaud, I think it didn't do very well with the audiences, so he kind of did more genre movies after this film. And then the second trailer is for a Western entitled The Bronze Buckaroo, which is from the year after Birthright, the same year as tonight's film, 1939. And it was one of a few films featuring this black singing cowboy. And the movies look fun. Again, it looks... When we saw The Phantom Empire, we were introduced to that whole idea of the singing cowboy. So it's just a fun concept regardless. So you'll get to see that in the trailer here. But we're going to get these two trailers for some late 30s race films. And then when we come back, we're going to get into the exciting middle of Midnight Shadows. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Listen to a sermon on Christian Isaac Africa by the Reverend Blackwater, a preacher who is truly a man of God. Oh, we must help men like Reverend Blackwater bring these heathen savages into the faith of God. Amen.
Very true and very fine, Mr. Hooker. But what about the black heathens of the South? They're both civilized and Christianized, yet live a life of misery in many places. Hooker's been included until it's pitiful to behold. What about it, Mr. Hooker?
I saw Henry Hooker give Signer a paper. Then they tumbled up the street who took the paper, looked at it, said something, then handed it back and walked away. Then Signer and Tump had an argument, and now Tump's are reading the paper.
Don't belong here, and we'll never get anywhere as long as we stay here. Why don't you go away, Peter? Away up north, where most of our educated people have gone. Up north where you can be free. You can't grow up...
That one mistake is not going to stop me.
But my fist will, you yalla.
And in my death, you'll receive a certain portion of my estate, because I have no other heir. I am the last of the race of the Wren. Listen, Peter. You don't want to do what's on your mind.
What's on my mind?
Marry a negress. You don't want to marry a negress.
Marry a negress?
No, Peter, no.
I am confessing, got that gambling craze. Will I learn my lesson? Oh, I'll be broke for 30 days. I can't trust at the store. I'm a bust and am I sore?
And we are back. So that was the trailers for Birthright and the Bronze Buckaroo, to late 30s race films. And yeah, I mean, as you can see, totally two different approaches, right? One definitely much more like socially like conscious, and then the other is just kind of good old-fashioned genre entertainment, Western shoot 'em ups. So, yeah, I mean, it was like, again, you're trying to appeal to a movie audience. So, give the people what they want. And
speaking of what the people want, look who is gracing our chat. What is up, Fresh?
Fresh Rogan in the house, good friend of the show. Gracing the chat, looking for $40. $40, Fresh. It's a little steep for Scream Stream's pockets. Okay, what do you think?
Yeah, these movies are free.
Yeah, I mean, come on, look at us. You want to talk about spendthrifts? We've been spending thrift for years now, okay?
I've been using this same curtain for years now.
I mean, hey, you gotta get your car, repo, it's tough these days, you never know whenever you're gonna out of the woodwork. They're not just gonna repossess your car, they're gonna repossess your soul, maybe. Who knows?
There's your horror movie.
Right now. Yeah. So, glad you're with us, Fresh. Hope you're enjoying your Friday evening. We are enjoying ours so far with this film, Midnight Shadow from 1939, murder mystery.
You're just in time for a love triangle.
Love triangle and maybe some murder. Now we've gotten through the first third, so I think
maybe somebody might die.
Somebody might die. We might be in store for some murder in the next few minutes. And I mean, come on, we all know who it is. right? I mean, come on. You know who it is. It's going to be...
Who's it gonna be?
You know it's gonna be. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it, but you should know. But yeah, it
was everybody on the boat.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, yeah, spoiler. Yeah. So again, as Evan said, love triangle. We've got the lovely Margaret, who's being courted by the Swami Ali Habad. And then Buster is another suitor waiting in the wings. And then there's a mysterious man outside the window who's
also a suitor.
Could be,
but he's too nervous.
Yeah, he's too afraid. He's walking a hole in the pavement, you know.
Trying to sum up the courage to knock on the door and say, "Sir, I've been watching your daughter through the window."
Right.
I'm in love.
Yeah. I'm a voyeur. What can I say? It's just my thing. It's my kink. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what this guy, if that's gonna happen in the third act. They're gonna leave us waiting on the mystery man outside. The mystery suitor. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, anything before we get into the exciting middle, Evan?
You know, if going after the daughter for this land doesn't work out, I think one of them, they're gonna go after the mother. We're gonna turn this love triangle into like some kind of quadrilateral.
Whoa! Oh, okay. That's not where I thought you were going with that. All right, I could see it. You can't, can't rule anything out. It's a mystery. It could be all kinds of plot twists. Well, on that note, without further ado, Evan.
Yeah. Do you what time stamp are you at? Let's synchronize our watches here.
I can't give you an exact one because it's plugged into like my Streamlabs like source, so I don't have
Never mind then.
Runtime. I don't know if you can like look back on if you have it pulled up on the YouTubes on like our stream and see where we left off at, but
I'll wing it.
Okay. All right. Well, on that note, we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting middle of Midnight Shadow right now. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was a few seconds early for sure. Because she's sitting down at the table writing right now.
Thanks, Sears.
What is time? Oh, okay. Well, that's a little suspicious.
Letter opener or murder weapon?
Oh, I guess we're about to find out, aren't we? Right on cue, Evan.
He didn't use it. He didn't use it.
Wow, you're right. Jeez. My dear Prince, I was so happy when you told me all the nice things a few moments ago, and I would love to see I am afraid it would be impossible for me to go with you in the morning. Mother and father would never understand. I could not have to go through life knowing that I had caused them suffering. When you have had time to make the necessary arrangements, I shall come to you. Yours, M. God, seriously, you were right. Who knew we were going to have to do so much reading tonight? and cursive, let alone. Oh, so hard. This is a knife. That's right, Alana. Uh-oh. Oh, here's our mystery lurker. Okay, here's some good little mystery stuff going down.
Okay. Freaky.
Here's a man in your house. Wake up.
Quick, do something.
Stab, stab, stab.
I'm here from the oil company. I want to talk to you about your land. Is this a good time? The door was unlocked. I just let myself in.
Oh my God. Is he gonna... Wait. Are there two people in this bed? Is this one bed with two people?
Is it two beds with two people?
Oh, it is two beds. You're right. Okay. Hey, why is he so tall? What? I can't see anything. Who turned out the lights?
Room for one more.
The one where the woman had the zombie in her basement. You're not talking about teenage zombies, are you? I hope not. I mean, this is like any good mystery from the time. 10 minutes of somebody walking through a dark house and it's playing this music, the same music, and you can barely tell what's going on.
I was just thinking about that when I was watching Rogue's Tavern earlier, because like you definitely get some extended lurking sequences
In the dark, yeah.
Yeah. Somebody creeping around the room.
Yeah, Fresh. I mean, you know, sometimes it's just too much story information for one person to deliver, you know? So just put it all down on a note. Make it easy. Okay, I'm about this staircase.
Yeah.
I fuck with the staircase. I mean, again, you see enough of these old school mysteries, you appreciate when the house has like a elaborate, even semi-elaborate staircase.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't tell. It was too like we weren't like you couldn't see who that was, right? It was too dark, right?
Was it just one bed?
No, I think it's two beds. It was
Last
definitely...
night there were two beds here.
Well, it wasn't her bed.
We've been robbed.
So what doesn't Ali Habad have to leave? Is she not like... Yeah, he was definitely in the parents' room. For show, Kathy. Oh, yeah, no, Sears, that's Son of Ngagi. Yeah, it was yeah, I mean this is both race films from the same distributor. Ooh, okay. I thought it was morning. Is it still night? Like what? What?
Did she sleep all morning? Is it afternoon now?
What?
Is she in a hurry or not?
Wait, who got killed? Mother or father?
Shit. Did she foresee her death?
Oh, I guess yeah, she did.
Hello.
Dude,
Hello.
that's so Raven.
Give me 460. Please hurry. Operator, please hurry. This is an emergency. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Hello? Hello? Is this Mrs. Langley? Mrs. Langley, this is Margaret Wilson. Oh, hello, Margaret. Can you come over at once? Honey, what's the matter? Mother, it's something terrible.
Just leave it like that.
What
Yeah.
happened, child? Hello?
Oh,
Margaret?
guess she hung up.
Hello?
How rude. Well, now I'm not going over there.
What happened?
Wrong with your
Something
woman?
terrible
Mama
has.
tried to tell me, but her voice faded dead away.
We better go right up there.
So are they like detectives? Is this a family of detectives?
You wait here. If there's anything you can do, I'll call you. You hear?
Yes, goodbye, Mama.
What? He's getting fingerprints off of the telephone? Yeah, fresh, that's right. Speaking.
Hello? Detective Langley talking.
Hey, why don't you come
Close.
on down here so I can get in office?
Who you hollering at?
I'm hollering at you. You ought to have been down here and had the office open. Suppose we get some business.
You better quit hollering in my ears.
It's my nickel. I can holler if I want to.
What number do you want?
Never mind what number I want. I want to talk to you.
Well, you can't talk to me, Sonny, till you get my number.
Sonny? Boy, who you calling Sonny? You know what number I want.
Get your party?
Yes, I got my party operator.
You ain't got your party till you get the right number.
I want 486.
That's the wrong number. If you want to talk to me, Sonny, call 468.
The time is up. The clock is 5
Oh.
What?
That phone's been busy for 10 minutes. Well, call it in.
Wow. Nice.
468, please. Oh, here he is now. Hello? Junior? We need an expert at once. You better bring all your things and come as fast as you can. Now, I guess you can call the police.
Hello, operator. Emergency. Get me the police. Hello, Chief. This is Ernest Langley. Send some men up to the Wilson home at once. There's been a murder. Yeah.
I'm a little confused why they were called in first. Yeah, where is Father? What is going on with Father right now? Was he not in the room?
Rode out to the land.
All right.
Man, I'm sure glad you came. You got
What?
a gang of desperate men. Come on. A whole gang? Maybe there's more than that. Just as soon as I find the right fingerprints, we'll go and find out who's guilty.
You can't find out who the culprit is with those fingerprints. You got to find some at the scene of the crime.
We know about these. Can we take them and say we found them there?
How you gonna get them fingerprints off the paper? Come on, let's hurry. We'll be too late.
We ain't gonna miss nothing. Whatever it is, it's happened by now.
What is their job?
Why have you been
Detective?
so long? Hurry up, all the
Fingerprints.
good clues will be gone before you get started.
Tell us what happened, Mama. We don't know what to look for.
Don't you know what's happened? Mr. Wilson's been murdered. That's what's happened.
Murder? In the middle of the night?
No, in the middle of the day. Oh, it was terrible.
It must have been.
In the middle of the day?
Yeah, worse than that.
Wait, did they say Mr. Wilson was killed? I thought she was crying mom.
Yeah, have we skipped forward? Is that
we don't know who's dead right now?
Get the handcuffs. Hold him, partner. Hold him still a minute. I'll get his fingerprints.
What was you doing under that bed?
What did you kill him for?
You've been hiding now all the time and just not trying to make you get away.
What's your name? Come on. What's your name?
Sergeant Ramsey.
Did
you say your name was
got him.
Sergeant something? Yes, Detective
He
Sergeant
could have led with that,
Homicide
dude.
Yeah, he just let him rough him up for like 30 seconds before he said anything. Nice.
I guess my partner made a little mistake.
Wait a minute now. You know we partners and everything.
Now don't start that. You hollered, I got him. And I was only doing my duty.
Now, just a minute, you. Now, I'll ask a few questions. What's your name?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Jeez.
Oh.
Oh, what?
Just plain old.
Is O your full name? No, sir. There ain't even an O in his name. You be quiet. I'll get to you in a minute. Take your time, Sergeant. No hurry. Now, what's your name?
Langley.
Well, why didn't you just say so in the first place? You sit down there
Uh,
while I ask your partner a few questions.
Isn't this a crime scene? Should they be
Yeah.
throwing people on the bed?
that's not what. Is the body still
Hello,
on the
Bob.
bed?
I was just looking for you. Are you sure Mr. Wilson's dead?
That's what the doctor said. Why?
I just sat on the bed and he
Okay,
kicked
so
me.
Mr. Wilson is dead.
This your boy?
What
Yeah,
about
this
Mrs.
is my
Wilson?
son.
Because
Mr. Wilson
Where
was
is
such a
she?
good friend
I
of
thought she
the
said
family
Mom
that the
was
chief gave
dead.
him permission to work on the
She's
case.
out running around with
We
Buster.
like to help out all we can, you know.
maybe.
Yeah, he'll be a lot of help. Sergeant, come here a minute. The lady's able to talk now, and we've got a suspect.
Oh, okay. She's able to talk now. See? Yep. I guess they gave the little bait and switch there, trying to make us think it was the
There
mother.
isn't much that I can tell. Last night I felt as if someone came into my room. I tried to awaken, but I couldn't. And then I felt as if I was about to smother, as if someone were putting a pillow over my head. Then in the morning when I did awaken, there was a funny taste in my mouth. And there was Dan with the cover all wrapped about him. And when the doctor came, he said he was dead.
Now, you must try to control your emotions and help us to find the man that murdered your husband. Did you recognize this person?
No, sir, I couldn't keep my eyes open.
What kind of a hat did he have on?
I don't know, sir, but I think it was a slouched hat. And his coat collar was
The
turned
Hat
about his
Man.
neck.
Then you did see him.
No, sir, I did not see him. But somehow the shadowy figure of a man coming through that doorway sticks in my mind.
What time was that?
I don't know, sir. Surely you don't think I could have done
Lady, I'm not paid to think. Our job is finding out.
Is browbeating defenseless women a part of your job?
Ooh, get him, Margaret.
What's your name, son?
Buster, sir. Buster Barnett.
Well, Buster, where were you last night?
I went for a walk.
Oh,
Likely story.
What time did you get home?
He didn't come home at all, Sergeant. But I know he didn't do anything wrong.
You just gave him up.
Just like that.
I didn't do anything, Sarge. What does it get that Hindu that was here last night?
Him knew? What are you talking about?
That fellow that calls himself the great Prince Ali Habad.
I guess she didn't tell you about the prince because she fell in love with him. I heard them last night planning to get married. He wanted her to go away with him this morning because Mr. Wilson told him that Margaret would come into a lot of oil land when she married. Mr. Wilson also told him that some oil company down in Shreveport had offered a lot of money for the lease.
So you sneaked in and took the deed to make it look like the Hindu took it. Isn't that the way it was? You didn't mean to kill him, did you, Buster? You just wanted to keep him asleep long enough that you could sneak in and get the deed out of the drawer. You were very careful to use gloves, weren't you, Buster, so there'd be no fingerprints.
Detective going in.
Careful, weren't you, Buster? You didn't know that Mr. Wilson had heart trouble, did you? You didn't know that when he started resisting the drug, he'd get tangled up in the sheets and strangle himself. You didn't know that would turn out that way, did you, Buster?
I didn't do it, Sarge. I didn't do it. I was mad. I wanted to kill that Hindu, but I didn't. I went walking, but I didn't kill nobody. You know I didn't do it. You know I didn't. I didn't do it.
You broke him down. Good work, Sergeant.
See where Allahabad went from here and have him brought back.
All in a day's work.
Allahabad, why, he's disappeared.
Go home. I want to check with all the detectives on this case before any reports issued. Leave a uniformed man on guard to see that nothing's disturbed.
The chief said he wanted to compare notes with all us detectives.
Yeah, I heard him. What you gonna show him?
I thought we'd just show him your book.
I don't think he'd be interested in what I found. How about you?
Well, I'd like to kind of keep mine secret.
Nice.
Ace detectives
Yeah,
on the job.
I've been giving you a chance to get all the dope, and what do you get? Well, now that's different. I didn't know this was a dope case. Who used it?
Not that kind of dope. Let's go in and get something quick.
You go ahead. I'll wait.
Don't be so scared. That man can't hurt you. Come on.
I know he can't hurt me, but he can make me hurt myself.
Wow. And that is gonna take us to hold on, my fat fingers are going all over the place right now. Hold on. There it is.
Going all over.
Hit you with the whiplash. That is gonna take us to our second break. Well, we're 2/3 of the way through Midnight Shadows so far. We've had our murder.
Yeah.
What are we thinking of it?
Might be the only murder for this story. I've had a little bit of trouble keeping track of. I mean, I guess I get like the broad beats, but some of Act 2 here was a little hard to follow.
Things got a little messy, didn't they?
Yeah, we've got a lot of players running around. I like these two funny detective characters, are like comic relief.
Yeah, they're okay. I'm not crazy about these guys. I'll be honest with you. I think I got a little spoiled by the detective in Son of Ingagi, who was making the Scooby-Doo size sandwich, like Decker sandwiches, and they were getting taken by a creature. That, you can't beat that. That is like top tier, like horror comedy right there.
It's really good.
It was really good. So I guess I got a little bit of a high bar with my comedy relief. But they're not bad. They're doing a good job, right? I mean,
yeah. I like to see more of where's the prince.
Well, yeah, I mean,
a little bit of Margaret, but
the prince said that Prince. We should just start calling him Prince. So Prince, he's said he was gonna have to leave in the morning. So morning came and went. He's gone. Okay. So, but nobody said, it wasn't like, oh, he's gone. So that was like a little bit of like, oh, where is he? Well, he's wherever he was heading to next. I'm not sure where that was. I don't think he said, but he was leaving. He said, you're coming with me or you're not. And so he left. I think the part that would confused me, but I think was interesting, was the fact that they were drugged, apparently. Like, I didn't know that until she just started describing it, and you're like, oh, okay. And
yeah, it was a little too dark to see.
Yeah, and I don't know if that
maybe he did it.
Yeah. I'm not sure. It definitely, some of the plot details got a little cloudy in there as well. Felt like we were drugged. But I mean, I think that, you know, I don't think it, I don't think it was Ali Abad. I don't think it was Buster. But who is it? Just gonna, some other character gonna just come out of the woodwork? Like, I hope not. But
so, and it's just like in Rogue's Tavern. In the third act, we're gonna have a mysterious inventor with really thick glasses show up.
Just some new guy.
It's gonna turn out to be the wife.
Mm.
Just like Rogue's Tavern.
Oh, that's right. I forgot in Rogue's Tavern it was the wife. Yeah, wouldn't that be funny? I mean, it wouldn't make any sense, but not much about this movie has so far. So could be the wife. I don't know. It's a theory. So we'll see. I mean, again, you know, like, there were some pretty good lurking sequences there, I thought, right? You know, looking around the dark and the music, the same stock music that we probably heard in 3 or 4 other movies. You know, that's what kind of makes it a staple of the mysteries that we're kind of used to from this time period. Which again is like, what's interesting about it, you know, again, what was interesting about Son of Ngagi and just these race films in general, like, to what extent that you realize, like, oh, you know, this is just the same, like, level of quality, if not better than what you're getting out of Poverty Row, right? Like, Poverty Row is not really, like, much of a step above this.
I mean, this one, it's got a staircase.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing. Only about half of the really good Poverty Row movies have, like I think Fog Island staircase is kind of similar. The Black Raven kind of has a staircase. I think that one's got a couple of staircases. But, you know, like, what was it? Invisible Ghost with Lugosi, that one's just got like a straight staircase, but it's still like a staircase. You know, a good horror mystery movie's got to have staircase. So they've checked the box. I'm feeling pretty good about it. But yeah, I mean, again, it was kind of like a mixed bag in terms of, like, by the time that these movies started trying to emulate, like, Hollywood style, I think audiences were just kind of like, well, why don't I just go see the Hollywood film? And, you know, as segregation broke down and you know, Hollywood started making more movies with black actors, that was when the race films basically went away. There was no need for them. Of course, again, you know, and I think when we watched Son of Ngagi, we talked about, you know, kind of black cinema past race films, and of course, blaxploitation movies and all that, you know, very, you know, like a very, like, wide history. And tonight's film really, you know, it was one of a few mysteries. They came from the race film genre. And I think the two that we're going to see in our trailers, at least for the break, at least the first one, it kind of mixes mystery with music, which was a popular thing just in mainstream Hollywood films by like 1940. There was a Karloff, Lugosi, Peter Lorre movie called You'll Find Out that was featured this big band leader, white big band leader. But it was a musical comedy, and I really don't like it. It's really not very good. Even Karloff and Lugosi plays a Swami, I think, or some kind of like hypnotist or something like that. But they're just sidelined, you know, it's kind of boring. But this film from 1940 entitled Mystery and Swing kind of mixes mystery with, musical, the musical genre, which again, that was where race films kind of like try to take from Hollywood, the popularity of Hollywood musicals, obviously mixing in popular black music at the time, but it was, again, one of those things that, at what point are you leaning into stereotypes? This is kind of you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, trying to make cinema is just such a, like you're trying to make art, but you're also just trying to make a living. You're just trying to entertain people. It's
you try to make something interesting and outside of the box, but if it's too outside of the box, nobody will watch it.
Right. And I mean, again, that was the thing about the filmmaker behind Son of Ngagi, the writer and the guy who played the detective, Spencer Williams. He kind of went in both directions. He could write a very kind of like genre kind of just mainstream type of film, but he could also write something that was more of a morality play or a passion play or touching more on social themes, right? So it just depended on what you could get financing for and what you could, like any, filmmaking industry, there's different little pockets that you can try to work within. And so the race film was its own little kind of, again, much like Poverty Row, a little ecosystem that you had people working in. And we'll talk about, the actress for tonight's film. She's got an interesting connection that, again, kind of speaks to what it, took to be a black entertainer at the time. So we'll talk about that after the break. The other trailer we're going to see is for a mystery entitled Miracle in Harlem. And it's, I think, again, it's got some musical numbers mixed in, but it's, that's got a little more social kind of drama elements, melodrama elements, which were popular with these race films. So we're going to get these two mystery trailers. And then when we come back, we're going to get to the exciting conclusion of Midnight Shadow. So stick around. We'll be right back.
I know what you're doing, but you ought to see the day you can do that to me. I'm warning you, you'd better not try it. Hello? 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 Look out! Oh!
You're gonna have a lot of time for thinking. Hey, Sarge. Let's mean you play a little rummy to pass the time away. No! What's up, fellas? Say, did a fella pass you that come in here that didn't know? Fella? When you bowed, the band was playing 4 bars of music. Before the band stopped. Band stopped. Told you he knowed all about it.
Each one of you here had a reason for hating Prince Ellis, and one of you killed him. One of you found out that Maxine Ray knew too much, and you killed her too. Now we're going to find out who did it, if it takes till doomsday.
Jump first, you're first in line after you, and you jump. The water's fine, land in the water with a flop, boy, you can't die. Do the little flop after you jump. The water's fine, sun is falling down.
feet, waist floating around. Set on spank and wet feet. Swimming hole is hard to beat. Jump on swimming hole's water fine. Won't let me jump. I'm right behind. After you jump. Water's fine. Beat the blues away.
You Julie Weston?
Yes?
You're under arrest, Miss Weston.
Under arrest? For what, officer?
Suspicion of murder. There's danger, mystery, terror when a killer strikes in the dead of night and a beautiful girl fights desperately to prove that her only crime was love.
May Carlson, shoplifter, fourth time picked up, no convictions, known to consort with criminals. Walk back and forth, May. Turn around, May. Walk back. Julie Weston. Face out front, Julie. And stand up straight. Suspected of the murder of Jim Marshall in Harlem. May be wanted by police of New Orleans.
You'll thrill to every dramatic moment of the suspense-packed story. You'll howl with glee at the screen's laziest comedian, Stephen Fetchit.
Can you keep a secret without running all over the neighborhood and telling it? That was my fears. Now I can't even walk all over the neighborhood.
And you'll enjoy every toe-tapping beat of the terrific musical arrangements of these outstanding artists.
Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king horses, all the king's men couldn't get Humpty Dumpty back again. Watch out! He come trotting around the corner. Watch out! He come trotting around the corner. Watch out! He come trotting around the corner. Watch out! Get out! Look out! Stay out!
I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home, a band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home.
I want to be loved, but by only you. I shouldn't be so crazy about you, but what can I do?
Wow. Oh, Remy Mac Booty with the dance.
And we are back. So that was the trailers for Mystery in Swing and Miracle in Harlem. And yeah, as you can see, both really showcasing the music in both of those trailers, and murder. Music and murder. So,
and mirth.
And mirth. That's true. Can't forget about the mirth. The mirth is, the most important part, arguably. Who doesn't love mirth? It sounds like a Seinfeld bit starting to go on and on about mirth.
I don't know if I like mirth.
Mirth. What is mirth, really, when you think about it? Yeah, I mean, it's good.
When was the last time you felt mirth?
Mirth. Haven't felt mirth in a long, long time. I don't know. Could I even give you an accurate definition of what mirth is? I don't think so. I don't think I can do it.
We got Webster in the chat.
Yeah, I'm sure one of our enterprising viewers can tell us what exactly. Do you know, Evan? Can you? I mean, is it just like merriment? I just equate. I don't know. What is?
Yeah, I think that's
Happiness,
probably a
like
decent way to-
joyfulness, mirth. It's kind of a weird. But you know what it is? You know what it is?
What?
It's nice and woody.
Oh,
Mirth.
right.
Mirth.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a good.
It's a woody word, right?
It's a good creamy kind of word.
It's not tinny.
It's not
creamy.
crunchy.
Mirth. It's not. Well, is a crunchy sound?
Ooh.
Is crunchy monosyllabic? What? That's the thing. What is crunchy to you? Is it harsh R sounds, or is it just?
Yeah, I feel like it's a word that you kind of have to chew a little bit.
Okay, mouthful.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Glee? Yeah, I guess mirth, glee. Yeah, I guess. We're just over here talking about mirth fresh. That's what's happening. We're over here doing a Seinfeld bit about mirth.
We're losing our minds over here. It's Friday.
It's Friday. You know, what are we here for? We're about to get into the exciting conclusion of Midnight Shadow. Last big fact that I have for you before we get into it that was wild to me today when I found this out. So the actress playing Margaret tonight, Frances Redd, this is her only film, okay? She was from Missouri and basically discovered and chosen to be in this film. That she was billed as the Cinderella girl, I guess, because she was kind of, plucked out of obscurity to go to the ball of Hollywood and shoot. Tonight's film.
She ran down the stairs earlier.
She did. She got a big staircase scene.
Did anybody see a slipper?
I didn't. She might have left one on the behind. Not sure. But she I think that she did some stage acting and she had some musical talent. But this was her only film. But she did have a brother named John. And his story kind of speaks to the struggle of black artists at the time and the choice that you had. Do you go to Hollywood and do you take these demeaning stereotypical roles if you can get work for the big studios, or do you go to make a movie like tonight's film, a race film, where it's only going to be seen by a very small audience, you're not going to make a lot of money, or do you change your identity? And do you, typically this time, if you were of a lighter skin tone, then you could do what was called passing, right? You could pass to be white, or in the case of Francis's brother, he chose to reinvent himself around an Indian persona because he was a very talented organist, incredibly talented organist. So him and his wife, who worked for Disney in the effects department, she was a white woman who was Francis's roommate, actually. Worked in the effects department. So she and John created this persona and named him Korla Pandit. And he was this Indian organist. And so he had a turban that he always wore. And so he started out on the radio playing the organ, and then had a lot of success on television in the early days of television in Los Angeles. Did 900 episodes of his own TV show of just playing the organ.
Wow.
And exotica type of music, that stuff. And he achieved a level of fame, and but he kept his true identity a secret, obviously. He couldn't tell anybody that he was a black man from Missouri. So he was Korla Pandit from India, and even his kids thought that he was of Indian heritage. And he, again, successful TV show. He was friends with Errol Flynn and Bob Hope, and Liberace kind of took his kind of act and did his own kind of, he was kind of the big, fancy exotic organist, pianist before Liberace kind of came in and became the guy. But the most interesting fact about Corla Pandit is that we've all seen him if you've seen the movie Ed Wood. Because in the movie Ed Wood, there's this party scene after they finish shooting Bride of the Monster. And there's this guy with the turban, and he's like doing this, looks like he's just hitting the keys, but he's playing like it's an organ, and he's doing some kind of like thing. That's Corla Pandit. That is like the real Corla Pandit, and he was like very old at the time. But Tim Burton got him to play, I guess, essentially him. I think he was billed as himself in the movie Ed Wood. So I remembered that scene, and I always remembered that guy. And then today, when I read that he was the brother of the actress in tonight's film, I was like, small world, right? I mean, these are the dumb little trivial things that I live for. It's such a random, like, wild.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta like just cherish the weird little details in that movie.
Right. Yeah, I mean, again, I've seen that movie many times. I remember that scene. I remember that guy. And, did I ever think, oh, who is that? Like, I should go look that up. No, it was just so happened that the only movie that his sister was in is tonight's movie, Midnight Shadow. And that led me looking into Corla Pandit, who had a career, was a very successful, but, again, he altered his identity. And that was a thing that, people just in their real lives did, not just somebody that was trying to be an artist or be a musician, or there were people that just to get by, would.
It's a conundrum.
It is.
Do you chase your mirth, or do you chase your dearth?
And and that's a tough choice, and it's see different examples. Again, that's the kind of the cool thing about getting to see a film like tonight's film, is that it's just because of the virtue of how it was made and where it came from. It is just so different from what we normally get when we get a murder mystery from the 30s. So it's been interesting, but we're about to get into the exciting conclusion. So what are we thinking, Evan? Any final words, anything before we get into it?
So if this is a Cinderella story, when is Prince Aliaba gonna turn into a pumpkin?
I mean, it's gonna happen like at the end, like the clock's gonna.
Yeah, that's the Midnight Shadow.
Mm-hmm. That's what we're waiting for. It's all gonna make sense. It's all gonna come back around. Well,
I mean, his name is Prince. We do have a prince in play. Maybe this is a Cinderella story.
I didn't think about that. It's a good. He is just trying to whisk her away, right? He did say, "You have to leave with me before morning." Right, or by morning we got to be out of here. So
at the stroke of midnight, it turned back into a mouse.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I'm interested to see some possible pumpkin action here in the exciting conclusion. So I think without further ado, Evan, if you have it queued up,
pull it up right now. All right.
All right, then we are going to go ahead and get into the exciting conclusion of Midnight Shadow right now.
I ain't superstitious. I'm just careful.
That's right, Sears. Jerry and George would talk about mirth at the diner. That's 100% right.
I'm glad that's over with. Now maybe you can keep your mind on these clues. Hope they took everything. Sure they took everything. Didn't you see them remove the mortal remains? What I'm worrying about now is the other remains. Ain't you find no clues yet? Yeah. I found some prints over there. Look, over there.
Man, he saw those fingerprints from a
Prints all
far
right,
ways
but
away.
what kind? They look like
Got the eagle eye.
Whatever they are, I'm gonna follow them.
Oh, cat prints?
Oh, we got a cat killer.
Whatever it was.
Yep, it's a sequel to Rogue's Tavern. That was a dog killer. This has got a killer
I'll stay
cat.
here on the bed and figure out what happened.
Yeah, it was an old man with a cat head puppet.
Partner, please don't go to sleep. And don't leave till you give me due notice. I'll be right here when you come out.
Yeah, Joe, I mean, I guess, you know,
Oh, Langley.
better hiring these guys than, like, you know,
Laying down when
the
it
Three
happened.
Stooges or, you know,
Yes,
guys
it
that are
is.
just going to hit each other the whole time.
That's what I figured. You're the only one I know who can sleep standing up.
What kind of detective are you? You know, I mean, really.
Sleeping on the job.
Sleeping on the job.
I'm trying to get into the headspace of the victim.
All right, now what does a dead body do? Doesn't swat at the flies. Oh no, the flies just live on it. You gotta.
Oh! Oh!
Oh my god.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
Whoa!
Oh! Hey! Hey! Oh! Oh my goodness! Hey there! Oh! Oh!
That doesn't wake you up.
Oh! Oh! Langley! Langley! Come back quick! I got the partner. Come on, hurry! They got me! Make up your mind. Who got who up there? I got the partner. Come on! Hurry! Come on! Langley!
Here, what's going on here? Hey, you get off of that.
All right, Sergeant, restore some order in here.
All right, that's enough comic relief.
Like I said, they're jealous of me and you.
Let's get back to the story.
That's all. I got it, partner. I got a great idea. Come on over here and sit down. Now listen, where would you go if you had that deed? Who, me? With all them police after me, I'd go crazy. Don't get excited. You ain't the murderer. I know I ain't. But just the thought of the hot seat that's waiting for the man that got the deed runs my temperature well. There's only one place for the murderer to go. Where? Somewhere to sell the deed. Buster said a large oil company in Shreveport wanted to buy the lease off Mr. Wilson.
He's the
Go
murderer.
there.
It's him. It's definitely him.
You think we'll get him down there? Sure. All we got to do is keep our mouth shut and our eyes open. Now, that's right. We got to stay awake on this job. That ain't all. As soon as we get there, we got to disguise ourselves so no one will know us. We'll go right to the oil company's office and tell the president what we're after. Then if anyone comes in trying to sell the deed, we'll grab them. That's right. Grab him. Put the handcuffs on him. Get his fingerprints. Grab who? The president? No, we can't arrest the president. Grab the man that got the deed. You think we ought to run up and grab him or just kind of surround him? Joe, you grab him. Now I'll put the cuffs on him.
Run up and grab him. Come on.
Okay, we'll meet you
Damn, the president killed my dad.
Tell us go. Where we going? You can go me. Silent as a mummy.
That's their theory, like totally outside party, the president of the oil company. This is like the immigration detour in last week's film. It's like, wait, really? This is where we're going
You
now?
want to see the president?
Oh, now he's got the deerstalker cap. I was wondering. Now we know it's serious.
Would you like to make an investment?
He's got his thinking cap on.
Oil. Invest in the West.
Think you got something there.
Come on, Langley.
I was just getting a little information.
Hurry up, the man's waiting for us.
Well, get me some of that oil.
Come in, gentlemen. I'm Mr. Mason.
Best
Wait,
of the
what?
West.
My name's Lightfoot, and this is Mr. Langley. Glad to know you, Mr. Mason.
We're detectives.
Oh, is that so?
So wait, is this his disguise?
Thank you.
Is that what it is? No way. I mean, come on.
Mr. Mason, do you buy leases on oil land?
Well, yes. If the lease is in a producing field or a proven structure, do you have one to offer?
Do you know a Mr. Dan Wilson who owns land around here?
Wilson? Yes, I know him. He owns this tract. Very good land. We've been at that lease for some time.
Yeah, the magnifying glass is definitely working.
He's held out against us for some time. Said he wasn't ready to develop yet. Don't tell me he's willing to talk terms.
Mr. Wilson was murdered night before last. The deed to that property was stolen. We working on the case, and we thought that. And so we came down here with a crime.
Yada, yada, yada.
I think you're 100% right. Being the largest operators in that field, he no doubt will try and interest us first.
That's what we thought.
Perhaps we better notify the local police so they can cooperate. Get me police headquarters, please. Have you a description of this man?
Nobody knows who did it.
Hello. May I speak with the chief? This is Mason, John Mason. Fine, thank you. Chief, we have a reason to believe that a man suspected
When you
of murder...
called the cops back in the day, did you
stolen
just
meat at his
get
cell.
the police chief?
Yep,
on the
direct
line?
line, straight to the chief.
I have 2 private detectives in my office now. All right. Thank you, Chief. The Chief will detail a man up here for a couple of days. In the meantime, he'll get in touch with Oxley.
Thank you, Mr. Mason. That's a great help.
You won't have a thing to worry about if your man shows up here.
Wow, okay. Douche. Didn't even shake his hand.
Well, I guess our man decided not to come this way after all. Been here 3 days now, no sign of him.
No criminal with an ounce of brains has come to the one place where he's expected.
No man with an ounce of brains would be a criminal.
Well, I guess it all ends up to that anyway.
I don't know about that.
I'll be busy here for some time yet.
Work pretty late, don't you?
Well, we have to drill 3 offsets the next 30 days. It takes work to get crew on the leases.
Yes, I heard you have some pretty good producing wells now.
Well, we have 2 on the pump. 3 wells came in on the joint lease near our line.
Is it this guy? You think it's this guy?
Protect our lease and our investment.
How much movie do we have left?
I guess I'll run a long report now.
Call me up in the morning before you come up. I may not need you. Good night.
Okay, Mr. Mason. Good night.
Oh, wow. Yes, of course, as soon as the detective walks out.
The coast is clear.
Wait, what? What? Oh, okay,
Now,
nice.
where did he go?
They're hot on the trail.
They were hot on the trail.
Up another blind alley. You've
Yeah,
been trailing
the trail
everybody
went
in
cold
town.
right here.
Book says everybody's a suspect.
we walked this livelong day trailing folks. We followed 2 railroad men to the roundhouse. 3 different times we followed men to the levee. Now we've been following this guy since we first saw him down by the railroad yard this afternoon. I'm tired. My head aches. My back aches. I'm hungry. My feet hurt, and I ain't going no further.
Wait a minute. You can't quit now.
That part of this expedition is history. I have resigned, capitulated, abdicated, and everything else it means I'm through.
Ain't this the building the oil company's in?
No, those were some crunchy words.
Oh my God! Yeah, they were.
What are you gonna do now?
How did they not know? So they weren't following this guy, or they didn't.
It was a coincidence.
These defective detectives.
My dear man, we don't keep that much money in the office. Deals like that usually go through our bank.
None of that bank stuff. I want cash, and I want it now. Open that safe. Or maybe you'd rather I'd...
Uh-oh. Is it Ali? It's gotta be Ali Bad.
I guess another murder wouldn't mean much to you.
Stop stalling. Open that safe. I wouldn't do it, mister. What about that crack about another murder?
Yeah, Lana, it's definitely...
Nothing much. Well, the man you stole that deed from, dead.
Definitely good that Evan made this coffee cocktail for tonight.
One more won't make much difference.
So at this point, why even bother bringing the deed if you're just gonna hold this guy up at gunpoint?
Right.
Like,
here's the
just feels
proof.
like
I'm just
skipping
gonna...
a step. Like, if you're gonna rob him, just rob him.
Drop that knife. Keep your hands up. He's on his wrist.
Who is it?
It's definitely a...
I thought you went home a while ago.
No, I had a hunch to stick around. A railroad dick friend of mine told me this guy got off the Oklahoma train this afternoon. So when I saw those 2 private detectives rush out of the building in such a hurry, I decided to stick around and take a look.
I'm glad you followed your hunch. You get your reward later.
What?
Now, what's this you've been telling me about a murder?
Who done it?
It just ain't happened yet, I guess.
That's him, officer, the one there.
You the one with the handcuffs on?
Oh, Langley,
You do your duty now, and I'll assist you.
What are you fellas afraid of? He's handcuffed. If you shoot him handcuffs on tight, I'll go arrest him.
Well, I guess you won't need me any longer. I'll go ring in.
He's like, I'm not getting involved in this nonsense. I'll see you guys later.
It looks like you guys have this under control.
Yes, again, and don't start nothing.
We'll take him on to headquarters, wire Oxley, and then turn him over to you officially.
What? Who is it?
Hello, Mr. Langley. Congratulations. Nice grab that boy of yours made. Fine.
Just a case of simple deduction, Sergeant. That boy's gonna be a great detective someday.
Mm.
Great now.
Sure, I know.
Well, it's
Jim.
not the
Maybe
prince.
you'll let me do more for him now.
All
I was just going to
illusion.
tell you that our 2 great detectives, Langley and Lightfoot, have captured the murderer in a neighboring state. According to latest reports, they will return with the prisoner within the next hour. In making our investigations, some very important questions arose that should be answered. Prince Allahabad, you may refuse to answer these questions if you wish.
What do I have to hide?
I wonder. Tell us, what is your right name?
What?
Here's your murderer. Gentlemen, you're what I call 2 first-class detectives. Take this man away and have him booked for murder in the morning. Well, boys, congratulations.
Really? Don't be this. This is just some rando? That cannot be it.
Sergeant, I'd like to have you answer that question before you leave.
I don't think that is any of your business.
That's another point we differ on.
What would happen should we agree?
I'd be wrong. Hey, Sergeant, don't you want this fella to answer your question before you leave?
That's a good idea, Buster. Well, Mr. Allahabad, we're waiting.
I am Prince Allahabad of the Royal House of Bonbon.
Prince Allahabad of the Royal House of Alabama. This is really a pleasure.
What?
Now, Sergeant, you can put me in jail.
That ain't murder, son. I'm on my homicide detail.
What?
Did I miss something, or was that?
No, you didn't miss anything. I don't. This is one of the first times where I've really gotten to the ending of the movie, and I've been like, "That doesn't. What is the? What was the point? What was
the ending? What's the?
Who was the guy? What was the?
Well, I'll say that if we're looking for a good twist in our murder mystery, I didn't think it was just gonna be a random, unrelated guy. That would be a weird thing to do. So I guess they got me.
That's a good point. I mean, yeah, at the very least, would I have seen that it was just someone that we never even were introduced to? Honestly, no. I would not have considered that.
Yeah, good question, Alana.
What is it? Yeah, Alana, that is a great question. I was also wondering that. But I did have to be some pretty serious. I mean, I think you're right. Because most.
It's the only way that makes sense.
It's the only way it makes sense.
Punches out the guy that he's got. They had to prove that he was a phony or something.
Right, and there'd have to be something that Aliabad had worked with the real murderer, right? And that there must be more about who the real murderer was, and maybe more of a reveal. And they just
I feel like this movie is like a crime scene. It's like we're trying to do forensics, trying to figure out what the heck just happened.
Yeah, I mean that we could be here all night trying to piece all that together and figure out.
Get out your magnifying glasses.
You're gonna need more than a magnifying glass to sort through that. Like, I mean, again, I really I could see, because most standard, even race films of the day, at least like an hour. Most Poverty Row films, at least an hour. So
true. It was a very short movie, so they definitely could have. I mean, there could have been another 10, 15 minutes cut out.
Yeah, I mean,
who knows?
And if it would be pretty wild if they just, for whatever reason, had to cut out everything about the killer, like the real, like that would just be
everything that they cut out. So, what I really wasn't expecting from this movie, we start with this kind of like love romance kind of story, and then the movie just changes its mind about who the main character is. Like we
Right.
spend the rest of the movie with the detective.
That's a
brothers,
good
the
point. I
partners, whatever.
did not realize that, honestly.
Margaret was barely in this movie, and it's like at the beginning I thought she was gonna play a much bigger role.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I thought it was kind of set up for her to like what's her choice gonna be? Who's gonna be the right suitor? Like,
Yeah.
there was, and again, maybe that some of that had to be cut, you know, like. But why go with all the detective nonsense? Too much detective nonsense. You're right. Like, that was the whole movie, essentially.
This is just them fucking around doing their bits.
And yet, Joe, like, it would have been, if his magnifying glass would have been getting bigger and bigger the whole time, that would have made it, like, worth it. But, you know, it's just, the bits were kind of, like, so-so. You know, they weren't the best.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna rate this one a crunchy. We got a crunchy movie.
We got
tonight.
a crunchy. Well, when we started out, we said we thought it maybe would be creamy, but you're going with crunchy.
Yeah, it's one of those crunchy, like, you know when you're eating crunchy peanut butter, and sometimes you hit a really hard nut. Kind of a hard nut to crack, or you feel like you got a rock in your mouth by accident.
Right.
That's I feel like I broke my tooth watching this movie. I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good summation of what it felt like watching it. And again, you know, I had high hopes for this movie. With as much as I enjoyed Son of Ngagi, I thought, okay, maybe there's gonna be. And there was a website that that I like kind of looked to for, you know, certain recommendations on just movies in general. It's, you know, cult movies, midnight movies, all that. And it, you know, it wasn't a very long review, but it brought up this movie. I was like, hey, check it out. And so I thought, you know, okay, hey, all right. Oh, you're welcome, Sears. Yeah, no, no problem. You know, again, so, you know, just to finish off on tonight's movie, it was so-so. It was, you know, probably on the bottom tier of the mysteries that we've seen on here, unfortunately, but. You know, there was still some good things to enjoy. You know, it wasn't without some enjoyable moments. So, I mean, that's Midnight Shadow, and yeah, that's that. And again, you know, there's other race films. I mean, again, you know, this will be like next February. This is how we'll be kicking off February's. So there are more of these films out there. A lot are lost. There was one I hadn't heard of today that I stumbled upon. It's like a supernatural. Apparently, it's a supernatural film with Dorothy Dandridge. It was one of her first films from 1940, and it's lost. So, but there were all these cool posters, and I was like, whoa, this looks cool. Hadn't heard of this. Lost. And a lot of these films are lost, so it's sad, but again, you know, could be found one day. But it was a good way to get into the history of, you know, kind of a side of the film industry, that we don't, you know, get to see a lot of, obviously. And, you know, seeing how people kind of worked around the adversity of the time to do what they love, make movies, you know, make art. It's, you know, even though the mystery was kind of bunk, it was still a enjoyable film. So, but we appreciate everybody watching. And, you know, again, it's, this was the 9th episode of season 12. So this was the penultimate episode of season 12 because next week is our season 12 finale. It's also Valentine's Day, I believe. Next
Yeah. Do we wanna stream on a day that's not Valentine's Day? Maybe
we could. We definitely could. I know that's obviously you've got bigger fish to fry on Friday, and I'm sure most people do. So maybe earlier, maybe later. I don't know. We'll figure it out. The date will be TBD, TBA. But next week we're gonna be finishing off, and I did change it because I thought, well, if it's Valentine's, I gotta go a little more in like a kind of romantic theme, but not really. But if not, maybe I'll go back to what I was gonna show. But we always finish off the season with the Lugosi movie.
Yeah,
as we do. So I was planning, if it was going to be Valentine's Day, on showing The Death Kiss, which is another murder mystery, but it's a good one. I have seen this one before. But you know, it's kind of romantic, but not really. But it's Lugosi gets to actually play a studio executive, so it takes place in it's a behind the scenes look at Hollywood, kind of. It's a murder mystery.
Very cool.
But if we're not gonna do Valentine's Day, because I was looking at saving that one, because that one's kind of like I know that one's a solid one. Mm-hmm. And so I was going to do one I hadn't seen before called Murder by Television. Also a murder mystery with Lugosi. Cool title. And it's from 1935. So, the early days of television. The infancy of television. So, I don't know. Death Kiss, definitely a very good, enjoyable mystery. Murder by Television, I can't vouch for. But either way, we're going to finish off the season with some Lugosi as we do. So looking forward to that. And, again, Evan's catching up on everything, but, hey.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I've only got 2 more movies left before I've caught up. So hopefully I'll be able to report back next week.
Well, I mean, you're close, you've got and next week Lugosi. It's just always good to get some Lugosi in your system. So because it's been a while since I've seen a Lugosi movie. I'm pretty sure. I may need to rectify that after tonight's stream. Yeah, because you always gotta get some Lugosi flowing through the veins, obviously. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so we'll be finishing off someday next week with a Lugosi. A lot of up in the air next week, but we're
gonna keep y'all in suspense.
Callback. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that, and of course we'll have a Saturday Night Shocker tomorrow. But again, appreciate everybody watching. Alana, Sears, Kathy, Joe, Fresh. I know we had a few other people in the chat tonight, and even if you weren't in the chat, really appreciate everybody watching. And it's one of those things, as Sears said earlier, he gave me some movie recommendations. Cool. Yeah, after, last week I told everybody, if you got things you want to see, things, ideas for the show, reach
Let us
out, email us screamstreamshow@gmail.com. Sears sent me some recommendations, so it was really awesome, and we're always listening. We're always got an ear open. But we enjoy just getting to hang with everybody and enjoy these old movies and learning a little history along the way as we do. And we'll be keeping it going next week, and then we'll have like a week or two off, and then the first Friday in March is when we'll pick back up, and that may be my birthday. I don't know. I'm not quite. I'm pretty sure at least one. I'm gonna go ahead and look. Yeah, that's the first Friday in March on my birthday. So
can't believe I'm streaming on my birthday.
So that'll be a lot of fun. So and I have not made the schedule for next month. So if you got suggestions, let me know. I'll be on the lookout for those. But yeah, I mean we're just gonna keep the classic horror going. And yep, Kathy, March babies unite. March babies stick together. Yeah, Pisces. Whoop whoop. You gotta love it. You gotta love astrology. But yeah, we're it's been a pretty solid season, season 12, and yeah,
we can reflect back on whenever we see y'all next.
Yeah, whenever we see you guys next week. But anything else before we sign off tonight, Evan?
I just wish everybody a nice creamy weekend.
May your weekend be full of cream or crunch, whichever you prefer. But until next week, sweet screams, everybody.
And to all, a good fright.
Why do I always have trouble finding the end credits on my remote? It's always such a struggle.